I should have asked you this before. I'm going to take a stab at it. Livaudais.
Almost. Livaudais.
Livaudais. Oh, it's a solid ass. Okay. All right. I won't get that wrong next time.
That's fine.
Where's that from originally? Where's your name from?
My husband's from New Orleans. It's a French last
Oh,
name.
okay. All right. Jambalaya, gumbo, all that stuff is very good.
That's right.
So thank you so much for joining us. Laura is joining us from Western North Carolina, and she's with Christie's and the top producer over there, especially Asheville, of course, your backyard there, and some of the surrounding areas there. And I know you've had an amazing 2020, and you're really busy, just like everyone on the panel seems like they're really busy, but I know business is way up, and we'd love to get your insight, what's going on. And I think a lot of people are flocking over your way to the mountains of Carolina, where it's safer living during the situation with Corona. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Sure, thank you.
We also have with us Jennifer Brilliant, who's very close to where I am. Much easier name to pronounce. That's a marketing. Your name is already marketing, right? I mean, what else can you say? Drop the mic, Jennifer Brilliant. But anyways, I know you do all of South Florida. You're based in Miami, especially Bal Harbour and some of the surrounding areas there. I know you've been a top producer over at Sotheby's for a long time. And how long have you been in the market? I don't want to take a guess because I don't want to say it wrong.
How long have I been a realtor?
Yeah.
In Surfside or this area for 15 years.
15 years overall.
Yeah. Pardon?
How long overall have you been a realtor?
Well, I got my license before that, and I bought some investments and that sort of thing. So it doesn't really count.
All right. And I know from talking with you, you've been very, very, very busy too. With I think everyone in the country seems to be coming down to Florida right now. I mean,
yeah.
Around in Miami, it's the worst traffic in years.
It's crazy. It's true.
Everyone's here, right?
It's a very exciting time to be a realtor.
Yeah. I guess because we're open for business, right?
Yeah,
and it's nice weather, of course, the weather too.
Yeah, this winter has been amazing.
Yeah, it's chilly but nice, right?
I love it.
Although if we say chilly, Laura's going to say 60 degrees is not very chilly over in North Carolina, I'm sure, in the mountains.
Look, I have my scarf on.
Yeah, today it's a chilly 70.
It is.
But when when you're in the shade, it gets kind of chilly. I agree. So we'll come back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And then we also have Cristal Clarke with us, who's been a partner of ours for many years. She's the best of the best over in Santa Barbara and Montecito. I know top 100 year in and year out Wall Street Journal producer and overall sales volume. I know that this year the numbers just came out, and I believe now, I know you're top 50 again. I think top 20, right, in the country?
I'm either going to be top 1 or top 2 globally.
You might finish number 1 in the country.
Globally, yeah.
Oh my God. When are you going to know that? That's amazing.
Well, I'll know that in March. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We definitely want to know about that when that happens, so we can do a big article and press release. So that's great. We'll take all the credit, Haute Residence.
Okay, that sounds good.
But that's great. I know you're always in the top 20. I didn't realize. So this year you jumped way up. That's amazing. So I'm sure that was a personal goal of yours. So that's incredible. Congrats.
Yeah, it's been an amazing year.
Well, we definitely want to hear more from you when we come back over. You're dropping the mic there. There's nothing else to say to you. That's all you got to say. Number 1 globally. We'll come back over to you. Everyone, we'll be listening. And Scott Goshorn, thank you so much for joining us over in Los Angeles. Our partner, Brentwood Market, and all of Los Angeles and globally. Rodeo Realty, I know you've won tons of awards and you're in the top 1%. And I know you're incredibly busy and you had a record-breaking year as well. And I saw your current listings. You have an amazing year you're starting off with right now. I know LA has a little more challenges because of the lockdowns and the regulations, but it looks like things are still going very, very well. So we'd love to get your insight as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So we'll go back. We'll start back with the cold weather with Laura. We'll go over to you for the first question, and that is, as you head into the new year, I know we touched on it briefly about what a strong year you had last year. As we head into the new year with Corona and the election and the new government, what's going on in your market? Obviously, the winter time, I guess, normally is a busier time for you, right? since people come to the mountains for buying second home, but now they're coming there more often. So how is everything in your market right now? And what do you project moving forward for this year?
Yeah, our market is very hot right now. We've seen a 66% increase in the fourth quarter over last year, and the demand to get out of the bigger cities is really fueling our market. And the main thing about Asheville is that we do have a winter, but we have 4 distinct seasons, and that's what people really like about our market is that by the time you're getting tired of winter, you have a beautiful spring and, so on. And, people are trying to get out of certain markets that have either harsher winters or hotter climates. And so they are flocking to the Asheville market.
Mm. Which markets are you seeing relocation? I know obviously you do very well from the Northeast, but I think even from Florida, people seem to get second homes there, I've noticed.
All the time. Florida is a big market. California is a big market. We're seeing Texas. And it's interesting because they're coming for different reasons, but it goes back to the weather. The Weather Channel named Asheville one of the safest cities in the world to live in. So like when California, when you have your fires, we're seeing people coming because of the fires or the earthquakes or, and then in the Florida market, they're buying second homes to get out of the heat, Texas, and then the Northeast trying to get out of the cold weather.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and you're in a centralized location, I feel like too. It's kind of easy to get to you're right in the middle of the Atlantic coast. So, but I think it's different reasons people go there, right? So from Florida, you're tired of the hot summers. You go in the summertime, right? And because people get the summer homes there, and then when you're up in the Northeast, a lot of times maybe you want to go there in the ski season as well, right?
Yep, ski season or just any time of the year for the Northeast. They're more year-round residents. And we do have a great regional airport and a private airport that with Corona, we've seen a huge increase in people coming in flying private.
Yeah.
And the proximity is so close to Asheville.
Yeah, and I mean, I've driven through there. It's a gorgeous area in the fall season when they have the leaves changing. The mountains there are amazing. So all up and down through Virginia and all down through Carolina. So
yeah, lots of outdoor activities.
Yeah, yeah. So you're even seeing people come from California, huh? Over to,
Yes.
Interesting. And had you seen that before, or is that a new thing?
We've seen it before, but it's definitely increased over the past 6 months.
Okay, great. We'll come back around to you. Jennifer, let's go over to you. The brilliant Jennifer Brilliant. So a similar question to you with the election and the new president taking over, and mortgage rates are still incredibly strong, but COVID's going on. We touched on it a little earlier with the influx of people coming down here. So what are you seeing right now? What's your projection for the year for South Florida?
I mean, it's been busy. Right when COVID started, with the lockdown, I think everybody was slow then trying to figure out what was going on and how to move forward. But starting last summer through now has just been extremely busy. And I felt like we even had a little bit more of a surge around Thanksgiving that's continuing. And now we're in the time of year that's usually our high season. So it's extremely busy. And I think there's a little extra kick due to COVID. But, even before, in 2019, there were a lot of people moving here from the Northeast, especially New York, just for tax purposes. We have no state income tax. So we already had a lot of people coming because of that. And we saw California as well, but particularly the Northeast. Now with COVID, it seems like everybody was kind of on the fence, jumped off and came down here because it's been super busy with especially people from the Northeast, especially New York. I think people are looking for lower density. I'm in Miami Beach area, but I specialize in Surfside, Bay Harbor, and Bal Harbour, and we're known to have a high crime rate. We have, a very low crime rate, a very low crime rate. And we have the best public school system anywhere around. So, and there are also some very good private schools in the area as well. So that's a draw. Obviously the weather's amazing, and especially during this time of year, people coming from up north. that's a draw. We're close. We're well located between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. There's just so many reasons people move here. And I think that with people seeking lower density areas too, and finding a single family near the beach, I mean, the place to where I specialize is just an amazing place to live. And I think a lot of people that were already thinking about it are making the move. So we've been extremely busy here.
And it looks like I think a lot of people are coming down from like New York, Boston, DC, and they're working from home. So they're doing a seasonal rental down here, and you might be able to turn them into buyers, right? Is that happening a lot?
I've gotten a lot of people, like friends of friends, asking for seasonal rentals, but unfortunately they're late to the game because every year people come down here and get seasonal rentals. So they're already all taken. And then with, people who are interested in working from home, there's not a lot to pick from at this point. But it's true. I've heard of, I personally haven't had that, but I have heard of a lot of people that came down for a seasonal rental that ended up buying their rental.
Yeah. Or buying another place,
Or buying another place. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they're like, why not? I'm sitting here in New York City right now. I'm on lockdown. It's 20 below zero out. I'm working at home. Why not just go down to Florida, right?
Yeah. And
nice weather.
Yeah. And there's
usual down here pretty much. It's just, there's a 12 midnight curfew. At least in Dade there is. But I mean, the tourists it's just as busy as any January here.
It really is. It's true. Crazy. And the restaurants are crowded. And,
People are wearing masks more than they were, though, at least,
Yeah.
People are a little bit more cognizant of that. But
yeah.
So it's a good time to be in real estate in South Florida as well.
Definitely.
And condos still are because condos, I know, kind of took a hit a little bit, but with people in a single family home, but how is that going now?
Yeah, the single family market is still on fire. I mean, there's an inventory issue there. The condos never stopped selling. I think even people coming from high density places like New York City, where they didn't even have a balcony in their apartment, here at least they can have a balcony and they can be outside. And I think that the condos never stopped selling, but now the sales are definitely picking up again. I think people aren't as worried now. They feel like they understand how to stay safe a little bit better, and they're not as worried about elevators. But the buildings around this area are not super high density. Like most of them have less than 100 units. So, and some have private elevators, so it's still not as crowded maybe as they might feel up in New York City, for instance. Okay. So condos are definitely picking up, and even some buildings are in demand more than others. It's like little micro markets. Yeah.
I think the luxury condos seem like they're bouncing back.
Yes. Yeah. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. And there's always oceanfront. Everyone wants the oceanfront problem.
Exactly.
So now we'll go over to Santa Barbara, more nice warm weather, and the soon to be #1 agent in the country, Cristal Clarke. We'll go over to you, and I guess tell us what your secret is. How you had such an amazing year. Tell us your story.
You're so sweet. So I would be #1 within my company, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, just for clarity on that.
Oh, okay. Got it. Not Wall Street Journal. Well, you might still be #1 Wall Street Journal, right?
I'm up high in Wall Street Journal, but
You're the top 100. I think you were top 20 last year.
Yeah. Last year and this year have been absolutely amazing. I mean, we've had such a great start for the first couple of weeks in January. I've never seen a January like this before. I mean, it's just so busy. It seems like it's ramped up even more than what's happened last year with COVID. And it's amazing the amount of people that want to be here. We get mainly a lot of clients coming from the Los Angeles area or San Francisco, New York, various places throughout the US. But just the amount of people that want to be here and feel safe is quite extraordinary. And it's, a pleasure to help them, find a home here. But what's challenging now is our inventory. Yeah. Inventory is getting less and less. I think more things are starting to come up on the market, but inventory is the real challenge because so much was sold last year and just continues to be. So
you already had inventory problems when we talked maybe 3 months ago, you were talking about that a little bit. Has that
Yeah.
gotten worse or better? Or is it
Gotten
the same?
worse. Yeah,
Worse.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, it has. But just in the last, week, we've started to get some more inventory coming on the market, which is good. But with that, you're having multiple offers. Properties are going for over asking price, and a lot of them are close to the asking price because we have a surplus of buyers.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's creating quite a buzz.
Yeah, I guess that's a good problem to have, but have you thought about expanding your geography in terms of, I guess you obviously cover those areas. Is there any other areas you could expand to? If there's no inventory and people are trying to get in your area, another town nearby that would be similar?
Yeah, there are a couple of other towns, but people really want to be in Santa Barbara and Montecito because you have the ocean on one side and the mountains on the other.
Yeah.
So that's really a prevalent place that people want to focus on.
I asked that question because I had another panel and they were talking about how they expanded geography in other areas, but you're obviously in a very unique area that everyone wants to be right there, in the area that you're already doing. So,
More inventory.
yeah. So what would you say to someone out there that hasn't put their house on the market, but they're thinking about it? Is it a good time? It's a good time for them.
It's an excellent time to put your house on the market here. Excellent.
How long would it be on the market for? Like a day?
Yeah, maybe a day, a couple days. If it's priced right, it's going to go. It's the same old story. If you price it right, you'll have buyers. If you overprice it, buyers will wait, see what's going to happen with it. But pricing is key here. And there's certainly a lot of buyers that want to buy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And where are you seeing, I know obviously there's people coming from LA and the high density population, as you said last time. Any other areas that are maybe surprising and different than before where people are relocating to?
We've had a lot of people coming from the tech industry at Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people coming down either as single primary homes or secondary homes for single family residences.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess because they're working from home, right? And they have their families.
Yeah, I think that's the new thing for all of us. There's so many people that now are working from home. I mean, you can really live anywhere. As the other agents mentioned, people can go to Miami, they can go to North Carolina. I mean, they can really live wherever they want to live and work from there. So, that's a kind of a silver lining that's happened out of COVID.
Yeah. Do you think that'll be for the rest of the year like that?
I do.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's go over, well, speaking of LA, we'll go down to the other part of California here with Scott Goshorn. Scott, would love your take on, I know you're in a unique situation in LA with, we talked a little bit about it with the lockdown and some restrictions that you have, but I know you're still rock and rolling. You have a lot of great properties on the market. You've had a very good year last year. So how's everything going in your market and as you hit 2021 and what's your projection moving forward this year?
I mean, the market's amazing right now. I think, once COVID first happened, there was a little few weeks of settling, but people had some panic, but, I'd say from April on, we just took off and we were setting records from the month previous, even December, 20% higher in December 2019. Same thing with November, October. So it's record month after record month after record month. Inventory is low, rates were low, but I think home has a different value for people now. It used to be, especially here, people traveled a lot, they had a house, but it's just different. I think because people can't travel as much right now at all, right? They don't have to travel to work. If they're going to have, it's more of a compound situation. Like if I'm going to be stuck in my house, I want to upgrade my life no matter what that is, whether it's someone renting to a condo or a condo at a bigger unit or a single family to a bigger single family with a yard, everyone was just upgrading. And the market was just crazy. I think we'll have an amazing year last year. I project the same for this year. List price to sales ratio in all of Los Angeles was like average over 100%. I think it was 102% last month. So, and this the first couple of weeks of January is insane. I'm just showing property like crazy my listing. So I project the same things to happen. It's going to be a very busy year. Thankful for that. And, I think the rates are going to help with that, but as people are going to be still in lockdown, and rates are so good, they're going to use that and buy some homes. Hopefully for me.
always good to get a glass of water. And I learned that before a long time ago. I got mine right here.
Nice.
You
Cheers.
gotta have water when you're on the Zoom event. If you have a cough and you don't have water, it causes some
You gotta
real
keep it hydrated, man. You got to keep it
Yeah.
hydrated. You know, you want.
So in terms of restrictions right now, what are the restrictions you're dealing with, and how do you get around that?
I mean, we're on full lockdown. Luckily, you know, realtors are essential. So, you know, that's great. You know, it's just really, we're able to show property pretty readily. You just have to fill out forms, which to me is also a silver lining of this business. You know, people have to be pre-qualified. They have to show forms. So if people are going out in this climate to look at your property, most likely they're serious and not really tire kickers, right? So the silver lining, I think most of us might agree, it's like, you know, open houses are great, but a lot of looky-loos. So everyone that's coming to see your listings are serious buyers. They're qualified buyers. So to me, I really enjoy that. I really like it. You know, it's better time served. But for us, you know, we have to be due diligent as far as like the restrictions that we have, follow the guidelines, be smart about it. We can't do opens or anything like that. Just like, you know, private showings, but as long as you follow the rules and be smart, you know, things are really busy and people are coming to look at properties, do a lot of Zoom calls too, but most people are coming to see in person once, you know, once they've engaged with 3D virtual tours and things like that, we're putting online.
How's the condo market right now for you guys?
Condo market is very interesting. Great question. So, you know, as far as like, you know, there are people, a lot of leaving California for tax reasons and the way it's ran, but there's a lot of New Yorkers coming in. From the East, there's a lot of people that always come into LA. Luckily, you know, you're not making more land here, and LA always has people coming, but we're getting a huge influx from New Yorkers who are, you know, we're in those high density areas because, you know, LA has got a lot of space, which is great. Condo markets have suffered. There's a lot of inventory coming on. They're starting to pick back up, but not nearly as strong as the single families right now. There are sales happening, obviously, but, you know, people are opting for yards and to have your dogs run around in.
Where are people coming from? Obviously, you said New York just now, and you guys are a global market, but it seems like people from New York are going everywhere right now.
Yeah, New York. I mean, a lot of like higher density. San Fran, we're getting a lot of people coming from San Fran, picking up clients from there, just like higher density areas. You know, we always get people, you know, from tech areas, but you know, just a high influx from New York's probably the biggest group is coming in. You know. Aside from everybody wanting to still become an actor and do all those things are coming in town too, but mostly just from higher density areas is what I'm seeing. Okay,
great. Laura, back over to you. Do you have any restrictions at all over in Western Carolina when you do showings, or is everything business as usual, with you know, obviously keeping COVID in mind?
Right. We don't, for the restrictions, it's just the CDC guidelines. North Carolina does have, there's no travel restrictions to come to North Carolina as far as having to quarantine once you arrive. But we do have a stay home, stay safe policy going on right now until the 29th of January, where the curfew is from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay.
And I agree with you, Scott. You know, the people that are looking, you know, they're coming in qualified and they're ready to buy. So it is a silver lining to, you know, to real estate in general for both, you know, yourself and for the sellers.
You must have a lot of people that do like a seasonal rental, and then they want to buy after they go there for a season. Is that a person that?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
We do. We do.
And then, have you been using virtual tours at all to people? Because obviously you're probably working with people that are, you know, out of town. Have you used virtual tours to help make sales?
Yes. So, you know, virtual tours, the videos, lifestyle videos, we're trying to incorporate all of that. So it'll make it easier on buyers before they get here to kind of narrow down what they're looking for.
Okay. And have you used any new technology that you'd never used before, but because of COVID, you're using it more often? I guess Zoom obviously is one thing that we're all using.
Zoom is one thing that I didn't use, you know, prior to COVID. So Zoom is really the only new thing that I introduced into my marketing. But other than that, the Matterports, where I would have not necessarily have done it on every property, now it's just a given that you'll have a 360, some sort of 360 tour.
It seems like everyone's been using that a lot more often than they used to use it from the feedback I'm getting on the conversations that we have. Mm-hmm. So that's terrific. And then Do you have any success story from 2020 that was, a story of a situation that was a challenge and then it ended up being a sale that you want to share with us from the last year during the challenges of Corona? Anything that you want to share with us that was a great success?
Well, I think I did have a really good year. This has been the best year I've had personally. But what I thought was the best success is the relationships that I was able to form with my clients. It was just a different type of relationship that you didn't really have in the past, because there was so much more trust and legwork that you were doing for your buyers or for your sellers. So I thought that was really great. And, just being able to help people with buying these compounds. I was fortunate enough to represent a buyer that did the highest purchase in one of our communities, the Cliffs at Walnut Cove. And he was just such an inspiration because he was buying to have a family compound, and it was just really interesting to learn why people are buying and what's important to them now.
It's a gorgeous area you have. The properties that you have are absolutely gorgeous. It's very unique. I don't think there's anywhere on the East Coast that you can get, maybe there is, but I don't know. But some of the properties you have are amazing. And I feel like they're also, a good value. I mean, I think that the market's hot, but it's reasonable.
Yes, the Asheville market is very reasonable. And we have good schools, good medical facilities as well, which, attract buyers. But compared to the other markets that are represented here today, we're, definitely a very affordable option. Our luxury market, starts at $1 million, where, for some of you, your luxury probably is $3 million, $5 million is where you probably start. So you can get a lot for your money in Asheville, and lower taxes, and insurance is really affordable as well.
What else makes Asheville and some of the surrounding areas there unique in terms of the? I know we talked a little bit about some of the benefits. Is there anything else that makes it unique?
Well, I think it's the outdoor activities. I think with people trying to get space and having these family compounds, we have great hiking, and we have beautiful rivers. So for fly fishing or kayaking, there's also mountain lakes that are very close by. Golfing is huge in this area. And, since we do have a mild winter, you can golf year round. So it's based on kind of wellness and outdoor activities.
Okay, great. Back over to you, Jennifer. In terms of, I know you do all of Miami Beach, but you really focus on the beach towns there. Tell us a little bit more about what makes the beach towns unique. Specifically the three that Surfside, Bal Harbour, and those areas there. What makes them unique and a big draw?
Well, we're right by the ocean, and really there's no other part of Dade County, with two exceptions that are extremely expensive. There's no other area where you can just walk out your front door and just go to the nearest street and walk straight to the ocean. And that's really what you can do here. And it has a very good public school system, as I said, and then the nearby very good private schools as well. And then there's also, I think it's one of the highest grossing malls in the US. The Bal Harbour Shops is right here, which is, even during COVID, it's still kind of crowded, which, but, in normal times, that's a great place to go. Very nice, very good restaurants, great shopping. But it's also very close to Miami International and Fort Lauderdale Airport. It's very well located. It's also a commute to Brickell or downtown if you, work down there, if we ever stop working from home. So it's, and we have nature besides the beach. If we have the Everglades and that sort of thing nearby, but I think most of the reasons people come here, whether it's to buy a second home or relocating their family, is the lifestyle, close to the beach, the great weather, the good schools. And Miami keeps getting better with cultural activities too. We have Eric, but the Art Center, and we have more museums every year. We have the Science Museum now, and we have a lot going on here. It keeps getting better. So I think we're a good international city.
Yeah, well, that's what that was my next question was going to be. I feel like there's a lot of international business that comes to Miami Beach, especially your area. Where are you seeing that international business from? And obviously Sotheby's is a wonderful international platform for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2020 was more domestic.
Yeah, well, because of travel restrictions.
Yeah. So, but which is also really good with Sotheby's. There's still a lot of we have a big network in the U.S. too. But yeah, really from all over the world. We have a lot from Europe, a lot of people coming, and then South America as well. And it's a big, and Canadians. We've always had people coming from those areas, and it will continue. It's still very desirable, but I think the travel restrictions kind of limited the international buyers.
Do you have one success story from last year that you want to share with us, like of maybe a problem that turned into a solution and a happy customer one way or another?
Well, I mean, COVID kind of had different stages. There's the beginning when I feel like I panicked a little bit, and I went out and made a virtual tour for every one of my listings. And that was always something I meant to do. What's that?
In March and April?
Yeah. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not having nobody's coming to see my listings, and I have to sell these for my clients. And so I always meant to do the Matterport tours, and as soon as I could get those done, every one of my listings I got Matterport, and still every listing I get now, I get a Matterport immediately, because at the beginning I did have sales just from people in New Jersey or New York, or somebody from Chile who looked at something with my Matterport tour and my pictures, and then they had an agent that came and did a FaceTime tour with them in one case, but the other ones were completely virtual closings. So that was at the beginning. And then as the year progressed, I had a couple, two clients that one just had to get out of their condo. She had wanted to buy a house for years. She called it the compound. And then the other one was a couple that I'm friends with, that sort of the same thing. Their house had become too small, and they're both working from home, and they just had to get a bigger space. So both of these cases, I found them basically their dream house, and they moved out. And the funny thing is that they bought first and then sold their first home after purchasing the other one, the new one. And I sold them both in a week. And both of these people had to do work at the new houses that they bought. So they were really happy that they sold in a week, but also they needed more time for renovations. So they're living in a construction project. But yeah, I mean, that was very gratifying, I guess, to get my friends into their dream homes, and they didn't have to carry two homes at the same time. And that's been really fun.
Great. Back over to Crystal, #1 Berkshire Hathaway globally. I got it right this time. Well, officially in March. So
well, we'll see if I'm somewhere in that top little tier there. I won't know till March.
Perfect. Well, hopefully COVID will be over by then as well.
Yeah, we all hope for that, don't we?
Yeah. So question for you: what are you doing differently? Obviously, you had an incredible year last year. What are you doing differently that you normally wouldn't do to adjust to the COVID situation overall with your approach?
I think it's just so much work is going into each day. I mean, there's no balance. I mean, it's all working, it's all helping people, which is so gratifying. But your day starts really early. I'm on the computer, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I don't get off till 8:30 at night. I mean, it's continual. But you need to be there, and you need to, help the people that you need to help. And that's what's been so gratifying. But it's really just, it's full work. There's no day off. It's just constant. And I wish I had more hours, in the day, and I don't. But, I think you could work 24/7, in this market. And, the other colleagues on this panel can probably agree to that. I mean, it's just a very, very busy time period, and, you have to be available. So, it's really just making yourself available to your clients and taking care of all their needs, wants, and desires, and finding them properties or selling their homes.
Well, if you're on lockdown, you might as well work and make a lot of money while you're doing it, right? Nowhere to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I guess you probably figure, hey, I'm gonna keep on running as much as I can, and then hope, once you get a break down the road, there'll be a time where you get a little bit of a break. But that's when there's no inventory left, I guess, right? That won't be a good thing. You want to keep it going.
Maybe.
Maybe you'll get a vacation, hopefully, when COVID's over, do a little trip and enjoy yourself for a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I that's awesome. So obviously you're always a very hard worker, but you're saying you kind of stepped it up even more, and there's no breaks. Maybe you would have taken a little break before. Now you don't at all.
Correct. I mean, it's a constant. Yeah.
Are you doing anything different in terms of your marketing, or in terms of the way you're showing properties? I know Matterport's been talked about. Is there anything different that you're doing from a technology standpoint, or from anything like that?
Well, I think having, great videos, great photography, the Matterport, as, the other agents mentioned, is really beneficial. As Scott said, you really have a great opportunity to have real viable buyers in this time period. The looky-loos are gone. And, you need to really concentrate, financials, making sure that everyone is vetted beforehand. And so that's been really helpful. We follow the right protocols here. We're very good wearing the masks, the gloves, the works, and showing property. But there's so many buyers that want to be here, and they understand what the protocols are, and, are very cognizant of it, and appreciative that they can look at homes and try to find a place that, feels safe to them. So, and as far as marketing goes, I think it's, just trying to get the word out on all your listings, not only on the web, but just, print ads, everywhere. So, buyers can resonate with it and see it and want to come and see the property.
Have you utilized social media, Instagram and/or Facebook? Have you found those to be successful for you for direct leads, or more so for brand building and lifestyle, or both?
I think it's a combination of both, maybe a little bit more the latter. But, it certainly gets the word out. People are, on Instagram, on Facebook, it's very prevalent. So I think the more you can do on that, there have been so many young families that have moved here, and, the millennials, and, they're very cognizant of, all the social media. And I think that's been very productive for all of us here.
That's interesting, because I do think of your market as probably someone that's a little more mature, maybe 35 and over who can afford it. But you're saying that you're getting the millennials now that are coming out there as well.
Oh, yes.
That's great.
Yeah, great.
And obviously Instagram's where they are.
Yeah.
Facebook more so for the 40 and over, whereas Instagram's more for the millennial, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, Instagram's becoming popular for everyone, really.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a good platform, I feel like, for video content and things like that. It really flows well for real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, well, over to you, Scott. How about you in terms of anything that you're doing different, through COVID, as we start this year? You had an amazing year last year through all the challenges. What are you doing differently that you wouldn't normally be doing with regards to everything?
Great question. I think, for me, COVID was actually just a blessing in disguise for me, because, those pedal down kind of shotgun spray, spray and pray was kind of the approach I was taking. But actually found a great coach, found a great philosophy. I actually started taking negotiation classes from a former lead international hostage negotiator for the FBI. Wow. Totally different philosophy and listening, and how I've been in sales my whole life, and I was always good in sales my whole life. But it kind of like I cut that boat out and burned the ship, and have a whole different philosophy of how I approach clients, how I approach myself, how I vet clients and choose to work, which actually saves me time. And through just those skills that I've learned, it's really just accelerated my business. I worked really hard last year. It was great. And I took a little break. So I think this year what I'm doing different is, you know, I'm a guy, like just like Cristal said, I'm up at 5, I got a routine, and I'm going till the sun's down at 8 o'clock and I'm in bed at 9, right? So I'm doing like micro goals right now, like little 90-day sprints where I have like, you know, vacation or something planned, not really vacation right now, but some kind of goal, some kind of little trip, whatever it is planned, you know, in the 90 days, work my ass off, hit my goal, and then take a break because I've earned it, you know, so I don't get burnt out. So that's a different philosophy that I'm having. And just, you know, through video content, you know, I used to be a commercial actor. So for me, it's kind of nice just to build different video content. So that to me is a skill that I'm utilizing. So I've hired a marketing company that's going to be very consistent because I am busy. It's hard to just post stuff all the time. So I have a company that's going to come in and help me do a lot more brand building, a lot more education, just really blowing that out because it's a strength of mine. So that's one thing I'm taking into 2021. I'm starting next week. So I'm excited for that. That's a new philosophy that I have for, you know, heading into this year.
Is there any neighborhoods, pockets of LA that you're working that you think will be hot this year that maybe in the past you wouldn't have worked, or are you focused on the same areas?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'd say Mar Vista is a lot, and I've got a lot of first-time home buyers too. I'm working with good friends of mine. Like there's some, you know, like the Silver Lakes, the Echo Parks. There's a lot of great areas there for building for, you know, for clients that are, you know, just entering the market, which is the hardest thing to do in this price point. You know, entry level here is, you know, $850 $1 million plus for your first home, which anywhere else is. And I tell my clients, that's an amazing feat. You can buy $1 million house. I know it's your first house, but it's $1 million you're able to spend on a home.
Good to start.
You know, so there's those out the pockets, but you know, like Mar Vista is a great one. There's a lot of good developments there. It's just kind of in between Santa Monica and Marina Del Rey, kind of sandwiched in between there. Hot market, you know, there's great builds. It's just booming here. So I focus a lot of stuff on the west side. I'm doing a lot of things in the Pacific Palisades, is a great market. So, you know, blessed to have such great markets around me. But everything just seems to be, there's just people buying on all different levels. So I'm just riding the wave till the wave's no longer.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know Brentwood is an old area, but it was hot last year. I'm sure it's still hot. And I saw your property, the gorgeous property that you have in Brentwood right now. That looks terrific. So I know that's an area that you're really focused on as well. But I know the area, of course, from O.J. Simpson, but that's a long time ago. Bundy Court. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Brentwood's a great area. It's where you know, do most of my sales there. Got, you know, great listings. Got some more coming up. Work with a lot of buyers there. It's just, you know, just a great pocket. You know, my goal is like, you know, we always go for the home runs and the base hits, but there's a great sweet spot. You know, like a second home, third home for people is like a 3 to 5 million sweet spot. So, you know, for me, I'm just focusing on turning those, you know, over and over throughout the months while I'm hitting the grand slams, 10, 20, $30 million listings. And hitting the base hits, you know, with buyers that I'm working with and sellers that I work with as well.
You haven't had any water in a while.
Pardon?
You haven't had a glass of water in a while.
Well, yeah, I'm getting low.
Are you thirsty?
I'm good at the moment. We're getting through there. Keeping hydrated.
Yeah. All right, back over to Laura in what's normally cold North Carolina mountain, but you're telling us it's been a warm winter, so. I thought it was a cold winter for the Northeast, though, right? For New York, it's cold, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So,
Asheville, we only get about 16 inches of snow a year. So,
yeah.
So we'll have today. It's a little overcast. We had a little bit of rain earlier, but it's about, I'd say 40 degrees, maybe 50. You know, high 40s, 50. So it's not too bad.
How long of a drive is it from like New York and DC and some of those areas to you? About 6 hours?
Yeah, so from DC, it's 6 hours. New York is probably, you know, 12 to 13. And
I know we talked a little bit about international. You're seeing some international people with interest now in your area? Are they and where are they coming from if they're coming from internationally?
We do not have a lot of international buyers. With Christie's, it has introduced Asheville to the international market. So we are starting to see some interest, but most of our buyers are just from the United States.
Okay, and how's inventory for you guys? Are you seeing some inventory issues too, or is that the biggest challenge right now for you, is the inventory?
It is. We're down to less than 2 months of inventory in the luxury market. And so it's a big challenge, and it's such a great time to sell because we're hitting these historical highs. And so we're hoping that we'll get, I mean, we will have more inventory on the market. People love to list their house in the spring because we have beautiful, you know, natural rhododendrons and azaleas and just all the different flowering plants. So they kind of wait, and we're like, don't wait. We need your inventory now because the buyers are here and the buyers are waiting and they want, you know, to be here.
Yeah, I think that that's interesting you say that. And that's one thing that I've noticed in talking with a lot of the top agents is you can't think in a box. You can't think of the old, if you think of the old way to do it, you're going to be left behind, because it seems like everyone that's out of the box and kind of makes adjustments as they go, because everything's so different and unique now. And you have to accept it and adjust to that. Like what you just said, people are probably like, oh, I'll wait till the spring, but I guess it's your job to make sure they know that now's the time, you know?
That's right. That's what we're working on.
Yeah. I don't think I asked you this question earlier. What are you doing differently to be successful? Because I know you had an amazing year yourself last year, and you're off to I saw your property you have now, you're off to an amazing start this year. What are you doing differently for you and your brokers that maybe you haven't done in the past, to have you excel during this hard time?
So the main thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to focus on fostering relationships with my clients. And because since you no longer see your clients out in social gatherings and whatnot, so it takes more effort. And versus I'm trying to make calls and versus just sending an email or a text, just to have some personal connection with the clients. So that's the main thing that I've been focusing on, is just fostering relationships and, keeping people updated on what's going on with the market, because our market is changing so quickly. Yeah.
No, absolutely. That's very true. And that's why you're saying put it on the market now, because you don't know what's going to be happening in April. Even though the flowers will look nice for the picture, but the market may not be as red hot as it is now.
I think we'll continue to have a strong market through 2021, but I'm always like, why wait for tomorrow?
Yeah. You've been in a hot area. I mean, your area's been hot for a long time. I know a lot of the developers are building these golf courses and putting properties on them, and they're selling like, these mountain properties, and I've seen a lot of those advertising down here in Florida. I know you see it seems like it's been a hot area for 5 or 10 years to me. It keeps growing more and more. It's great. How big an area do you cover in terms of miles?
I'm an Asheville native, so I do a lot of, I mainly focus in the Asheville market, but I do help people with mountain lake properties.
Okay.
So I can go for a 2-hour radius from the Asheville market and to help people find lake properties.
Okay.
And we have beautiful mountain lakes, and that's something that I enjoy doing as well. So I do cover a pretty large market, but my focus is on the Asheville area.
So you were born and raised there?
Yes, I was.
Nashville? Oh, wow. Okay. That's awesome. So no one knows Asheville in the Western Carolina better than you. You know all the secret roads, all the back roads.
Oh, exactly.
You got to get around traffic on the little mountain roads.
Yeah.
You know where
the client in the car, and they're watching their Google, and they're like, "Where are you taking me?" I was like, "Don't worry, I'm saving you about 15 minutes."
You know where all the police are doing radar, so you don't get speeding tickets. You probably know the police, so when you pull over, you get out of it.
Yeah.
I know who to call if I get a ticket going through Asheville. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's great. I didn't realize that you were born, and I know your sister and you work together as well at the Christie's office there. I could never work next to my brother. We kill each other. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, well, she's really nice. So,
Ellen is my brother, but I couldn't work with him all day, every day. That's for sure. We fight each other. Boys are. We fight each other. You never forget your childhood when you have a brother. I can assure you. So on that note, back over to Jennifer. Jennifer, in terms of mortgage rates, I know they're an all-time low. Do you think that that's going to continue? What's your take on mortgage rates as we move into a new year with a new regime?
Yeah, I mean, everything I've read suggests that they'll stay low. So I'm kind of expecting this year to still have really low interest rates. But I guess we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, I think that they should be low this year still.
Okay, and then in terms of moving forward with single-family homes and condos, do you feel as though, I know you mentioned the condo market's getting back and picking up a little bit. Do you feel like we're going to see that even out at some point this year or maybe next year, moving forward into the 2 or 3 year window? It's not going to stay like this forever, right?
Well, even before COVID, we had sort of an oversupply of condos.
Well,
So
true.
it was already happening.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of new construction, that came online
Yeah.
before COVID. And so there was just a lot of inventory. But yeah, I mean, there's so many people moving here, and I've had people that buyers coming here from other states that 100% for sure they want to buy a single family home. Maybe they want waterfront and there's just no inventory, and they've looked and waited long enough, and I've called every realtor I know and we can't find them something. So they've, in a couple of cases, said, okay, maybe I'll consider a condo with an ocean view, in the same area. Yeah, I mean, I think the condo sales will definitely continue to pick up, and I think that hopefully it'll become more of a balanced market there. But single family absolutely will continue at the rate it's going with low inventory or not enough inventory, especially waterfront homes. That's where we have the biggest in my area here. That's where we have the biggest shortage.
Okay, so if I'm a consumer and I'm a homeowner and I'm thinking about putting my house on the market, but I'm not sure, and I might put it on the market like Laura said in April or May, what would you say to them? And I live in Surfside in a condo. What would you say to them?
Oh, in a condo?
In a condo, they're thinking about selling now, or should they wait till April, May?
No,
June?
There's no reason to wait. Well, here, now it's our best time to list. And because of the good public school, you could put your house on the market in April, that's fine, or your condo. And the idea would be to hopefully sell before school starts, because you can catch anybody. You have the snowbirds here, you have the people looking to move before school starts. So that would be, my advice would be as soon as possible. And we always have things in bloom, so there's no excuse about rhododendrons here. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any reason to wait. I have clients right now that they know they want to sell, and they're asking, should we do it now, or is there a reason to wait, or should we wait till next year? And my answer is always, I know right now the market's red hot. Right now we have a great market. I think it will continue for 2021. That's all signs point to, a super strong market, but I know right now is good. So there's no reason to wait.
Yeah.
If you want to sell.
Back over to Crystal. Crystal, I know you touched a little bit about Santa Barbara and Montecito and how unique it is, but tell us a little bit more in detail about what makes Santa Barbara and Montecito such a unique place and why it's booming so much with real estate, but what makes it so special for those areas.
Well, you've got the ocean on one side and the mountain on the other, so you don't have a lot of space for growth. And the properties that you have here are just so beautiful. You've got major estates, you've got great landscaping, very mature landscaping. You look out from a house that's on the hill towards the ocean and you see beautiful trees leading you down to the ocean. And you don't see a lot of homes because of the amount of greenery that we have here. Our weather is divine. I mean, it's normally around 72, 73, pretty much year round. You can do so many great outdoor sports here: hiking, yoga, boating, surfing, just running. There's so many things you can do, year round here, that I think a lot of buyers have come into our area because it feels safe to them. they've flee the urban environments and they want to come to a place that has open spaces, feeling like they can be outside, in their own residence and not feel cramped. I mean, most of our properties are on, in Montecito, an acre or more. So you have great outdoor entertaining areas, and you really live that indoor outdoor living even in COVID time period. So it's been a huge draw for people wanting to be here, and we've got gorgeous beach properties. We really have it all here. I mean, I feel very blessed and honored, to live here as long as I have. And, it's just such a beautiful place. And a lot of people are finding out about our special hidden gem here. It's really been a great welcoming of people coming in, and very supportive. And it's a great community. And yeah, it's amazing.
How long have you lived in Santa Barbara, Montecito for?
I've lived
Where
here.
do you live? Which one do you live in, Montecito or Santa Barbara?
I live in Montecito.
Okay,
Yeah.
I figured
It's
that.
right next to Santa Barbara, like 5 minutes away.
Okay.
And
How long have you lived in the town?
I've lived here most of my life. So,
Okay, but you were not born there. All
what's
right.
that? I wasn't
You
born
weren't
here.
born there like Laura. Okay.
No, I was born in Europe, but
Okay, where in Europe were you born?
in Germany.
Germany? My last name means rabbit in German. I think you know that. Hassenpfeffer, Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, that's a
My
good
mom's
one.
German, and actually my dad's side of the family is German too.
Awesome.
But she always goes and brings back gummy bears. And we
Yeah.
play foosball, but the table soccer, they call it foosball.
Yep.
Well, anyways, but so do you speak fluent German?
No, I don't. I left when I was a child, but my siblings do. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, it seems like it all worked out for you in Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Montecito, I'm sorry.
Well, both.
Yeah. On that, actually, a question on that. Internationally, do people know Santa Barbara more than Montecito? Just because it's a little.
Yeah, I think most people know Santa Barbara more than Montecito. And then I think when Prince Harry and Meghan moved here, Montecito got to be a larger, name globally because of that. But it's an area where, a lot of celebrities live here, a lot of people from the industry with the movies, but everyone keeps a lot of privacy here. It's a wonderful aspect. People can walk down the street that are well known, and it's people respect that. They don't go running up to them. They feel like they can live a life here, which is wonderful.
Sounds like a good place to go when you're done with the hustle and bustle of LA and you want to chill a little bit.
Yeah.
But don't tell Scott I said that.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a great play. I love going up there. Little getaways. It's an hour and a half away from me. It's a nice little pop in. A lot of people in LA do it. It's beautiful.
Well, Scott, now you cover a pretty big area because I know you're driving around a lot. How far north do you go and how far south do you go?
Well, it's funny. I can tell you guys my radius is probably 10 miles, which you guys think is nothing in other cities, but in LA, that's an hour and a half, so it's quite far. But it just depends. I've done stuff with North Santa Clarita. I've actually, sold a friend of mine a home in Mammoth a few years back. But I've tightened my bubble up. I've got stuff in Glendale. I actually represent the Glendale Center Theater, which is cool. It's the oldest family-owned theater in the United States. Working family-owned theater, which is really neat. So, so I try to reduce my bubble, but the drive time here is just bananas. The traffic's horrible. COVID has been a little bit nicer with that. It's starting to pick back up.
That's true. Great point on that. The traffic's been a lot
It's nice
better.
for a while, and you're just zipping around. It was beautiful. LA is the best city in the world when you get to somewhere normally in 15 minutes. It usually takes an hour and a half. So it's
the summer of 2020 when no one was on the road and the police were so worried about COVID. I mean, people were going 130 on the highway. And it's great. I don't know if that's how it was out there, but over here in South Florida, 95 was like a race zone.
Oh man, it was beautiful. You could
because there's no cars on the road. It was it's probably the same thing in LA, right? California.
It was beautiful. You can zip around. It's starting to get a little bad now, but not as bad as it was before. But yeah, you could just zip one place to the other. I get to the beach in 10 minutes. Normally it takes about 20. Even though I literally am 4 miles away, so I'm not far at all. 3 miles.
You get to Santa Barbara in 30 minutes probably back then during the summer. Let's go around the horn one last time to everyone. I know the hour's almost up here, but Laura, we'll finish with you. Just want to get any last comments or thoughts that you would have for the audience that you might want to share with them as we wrap things up with regards to anything that you want to share at all.
Well, I welcome anyone to, look us up and see what the Asheville market has to offer. We have a great team here and some beautiful real estate to show you, and a huge variety of real estate. We have large family compounds, historical properties, because the Vanderbilts built the Biltmore estate here back in the 1920s. So we have beautiful historical properties, and then new construction, mountain views, lakes, like I mentioned, river properties, farms. So there's a huge variety, and also in price points as well. So we welcome any visitors.
Terrific, terrific. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Don't get off yet, though. We're not done. We're going to go around. I'm still going to say bye again one more time.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a rush to show a property or something.
Yeah.
Or have a sale. So Jennifer, same question for you. Is there anything that you want to share with the audience out there with regards to anything at all you want to share with the year or you, or just any thoughts at all you would have? I think you're on mute. There you are.
Similar to Laura, I would welcome anyone who's interested in Miami. It's a very exciting place to live, by the beach especially. Miami Beach, Surfside, Bay Harbor, Bal Harbour. We have property in every price point. There's really literally something for everyone. And the winter's beautiful. It's 73 degrees today, low humidity. Winters are amazing. So if you don't want to relocate, you can buy a winter home. A lot of people do that. But it's a fun place to live, and the real estate market's very exciting and dynamic right now. So come on down.
I think the cool thing is that everyone has something unique and different on the panel here. You guys all have amazing areas, but everyone's in a different, unique area. So, which is really cool. But yeah, 73 degrees in South Florida is a lot different than 73 degrees with Cristal, because they don't 73 degrees out in Montecito. There's no humidity where we are. Maybe not today, but usually it's like 73, but it feels like 120. Humidity. So
that's true.
Yeah, but this time of year it is perfect right now.
Yeah,
sure. Absolutely. So on that note, over to Cristal. We're at 73 degrees every day of the year and perfect and sunny.
I think we do get the best weather here year round.
Oh, I agree. I mean, San Diego, I used to go there all the time, and it's obviously right there. And I always say that is the absolute, and it makes people relax. You just feel relaxed because the weather's so perfect every day. It's like it's very relaxing. And the weather helps with that.
Yeah, it is. And what we sell here, it's a lifestyle here. It's somebody who wants to just really enjoy life and what life has to offer, being with the outdoors and being with great cultural center that we have and great arts and lectures. There's a lot of culture here, and it's such an amazing place to have the combination of all of that people really feel like they're living their life. And, that people would come here and visit and would always say, gosh, I'd love to live in Santa Barbara one day. And I think COVID has made that one day very prevalent. Mm-hmm. And with people being able to work remotely, that has really enhanced buyers coming and buying properties here and, starting to live the lifestyle that they've always wanted to. They're not putting that off 5 or 10 years. They're saying, I want to do it now. So I think this whole environment with COVID has really changed people's thought process and made them realize what's important in their life and how to incorporate that now instead of, waiting for years to come to do it. So I welcome anybody to come. It's an amazing place to live.
Absolutely, absolutely. And bring your bathing suit and your golf clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Great golfing, yeah.
Wineries too?
Yeah, we have amazing wineries. Just over the hill is Santa Ynez, which is about a 35-minute drive. And it's like a mini Napa. They have great wines. It's a fabulous place to be. amazing restaurants. And you can go there for the day, come back. It's really great. So yeah, it's wonderful wineries.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. We really appreciate it.
Of course.
And last but not least, Scott, would love to get any final thoughts from you that you'd like to share with the audience. Love to hear any take you have. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, I appreciate that. First of all, it was great meeting every other panelists today and you. You guys are amazing. So it's great to be here. Two quick things. LA, don't really need to sell too much on that. It was 80 degrees last weekend. You literally you could have gone to the beach and you could have gone an hour and a half to Mammoth or 2 hours to Mammoth and gone skiing in the same day. That's the beauty of Los Angeles. I think for, what I want to talk about for the agents that are maybe listening out there or anyone in sales, I think, you capture the market when it's a down market or perceived down. Last year, when COVID came, a lot of people panicked, a lot of agents panicked. What I did is I doubled down my marketing, I doubled down my efforts, and I had the best year of my career. I think for people just to, keep getting yourself better, reinvent yourself, work hard, the magic pill is the phone, get your contacts in, but, just hustle. There's people who are still on the fence with COVID. But the numbers don't lie. You see what's going on in the markets all across the United States. So I encourage everybody just to push themselves, work hard, and just grow. And, I learned a lot last year through COVID, through the experience, just being able to take a step back, get a breath, refocus my energies, and it just changed my whole trajectory. It was always going well, but it's just really changed my focus, my philosophy of what I do. So I would just say, get after it, put the pedal down, have a great year. I wish everybody a year of abundance. Can't wait to see how everybody's ends up this year, but I think it's going to be a great year for everybody. I appreciate you being
Awesome. And I can tell you have no shortage of energy. You talk almost as fast as I do.
That's right. I know. That's why it's hard. It feels like it's coming out real slow, but I know it's not. It's just how I roll.
Energy is good when you're working the hours you guys are working. So
right, gotta have it.
Yeah. Well, Laura, Jennifer, Crystal, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you guys being on board with us. Scott as well with the late night in the background, working late nights over in LA. Thank you so much for joining us. Just so you guys know, I'm going to connect all you guys on an email afterwards, and I'll send you guys a video of everything. We've been broadcasting live on Zoom, also on Instagram Live and Facebook Live, and we'll be downloading a full video of everything, the entire 1 hour event. Thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you guys. You've been amazing panelists, and we look forward to having you guys on again very soon. Thanks for being wonderful partners of Haute, and be safe. And we look forward to another year of all you guys being number one and having an amazing, safe, and healthy year. So thank you.
Nice guys. Nice meeting everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
Likewise.